On the campaign, will you say now that Kamala Harris is eligible to run and be vice president or president based on being born in Oakland, California?
So I have nothing to do with that. I read something about it, and I will say that he is a brilliant lawyer, that I guess he wrote an article about it. So I know nothing about it, but it's not something that bothers me.
But sir, when you do that, it creates...
Why do you say that? I just don't know about it, but it's not something that we will be pursuing. Let me put it differently.
President, you know.
Let me put it differently. Don't tell me what I know. Let me put it differently. They don't talk about the wall anymore. They don't talk. Why don't you talk? I went, look at all those people back there. That's called fake news. Fake news. The fake news. They don't talk about the wall anymore. See, we won. We got the wall. It's going to be up to 300 next week. It's going to be finished very soon. And as soon as we won, all of a sudden, they never talk about it. But you know where I talk about it? Numbers. The numbers are so good. If you look at what they're doing, Biden, he wants to end fracking, end petroleum products, end petroleum, no natural gas, no nothing, end everything. And that's it. How does that work in Texas? How does that work in Pennsylvania? I was in Pennsylvania yesterday, a place that he said he was born in, which is true, but he left when he was like 9 years old. So he left a long time ago. He left 7 decades ago. And he still calls it his home. And his real home is a place he never leaves anymore. He just never leaves. He never leaves the outskirts of that state. You'd think he'd go a little bit, you know. It's not that far. Never leaves. We'll figure it out pretty soon. And if I could add, I never met him, to the best of my knowledge. I never heard of him. I don't know who he is. I then said, when did he leave? And it was like a year and a half ago. He said the best things about what we're doing, unbelievable statements, and he left a year and a half ago. All of a sudden, he's bad-mouthing. Now, the reason is the Democrats or somebody got to him and said, how would you like to speak? Or whatever. He's a lowlife. Anybody that does that is a lowlife to me. And how about all these people? How about Kamala? Kamala runs. She's sort of one of the favorites. And she goes from 15 to 13 to 12 to 9 to 7, 5, 4. About 1 she got out. She didn't even get to Iowa. She never got there. She didn't want to take a vote. That's how bad she was. Don't you want to pick a person that's gone in the opposite direction? I mean, seriously, that's like a free call. But there's something that's not good going on there. I don't think it was a good choice. It was my #1 draft pick. I did say that. They said, how do you like the choice? I said, that was my #1 draft pick. But I meant from my standpoint. But think of it. She was one of the favorites, and she went down like a rock. So it's one of those things, I believe. Bernie Sanders declared in his speech, many of the ideas that just a few years ago were considered radical are now mainstream. That's Bernie Sanders, okay? Because Joe, look, he doesn't know where he is. But if he did, he's been brought so far left that our country will not be the country that we know it. It will have problems. It will go down. Your stocks will be gone. Your 401ks will disappear. You say he's been a big fan? But the New York Times gave us the best editorial I've had. I can't even believe it. I'm surprised they did. I'm sure they've changed it by now. When somebody got in, they said, who wrote that editorial? They probably lost their job. But Tom Friedman actually wrote the editorial. It was very fair. It's true. He couldn't believe it. It's gotten great reviews from everybody. Wall Street Journal, Washington Post. Can you believe that one? Everybody gave it. And we couldn't have done that deal had we stayed in this horrible deal done by John Kerry, who just had no clue as to negotiation. He never got up. They would tell him, we want this, we want this, we want this, and he'd sit there and he'd agree to everything. Sometimes you have to get up and walk. He never got up and walked. Once he rode his bicycle, remembered he was in an accident. I promised at 73 years old, I said, I'll never be riding a bicycle. He had the helmet, he had the names, the insignias all over. He had insignias like, you know, like he was a 20-year-old great cyclist from France. So that delayed him about 2 months. They said he just got hurt in a bicycle accident. What? It's not a good accident when you're... So I promised I wouldn't do that. I might get hurt, but I'm not getting hurt riding a bicycle, I think. Steve, please.
You've had some differences with your Defense Secretary, Mark Esper. Do you have confidence in his leadership there?
Mark Jesper? Did you call him Jesper? Oh, okay. Some people call him Jesper. No, I get along with him. I get along with him fine. He's fine. Yeah, no problem. I consider firing everybody. At some point, that's what happens. I will say that if a Republican ever did what Joe Biden did with calling off the prosecutors, or you're not going to get $1 billion, and he's on tape. It's not like, oh, gee, I mean, he's on tape. We wouldn't have had a chance. It's a disgrace. The double standard is a disgrace. And hopefully it'll be brought back to fairness. And remember this, they spied on my campaign and they got caught. They can say what they want. This FBI agent has just now, first one, admitted, that's the beginning, hopefully, of the falling castle. But he's admitted that he forged documents. He changed documents, reversing them. And he admitted it. So let's see what's going to happen over the next, hopefully, short period of time, because it's been unfair that we've had to wait so long. That was so obvious for a long time.